I cannot hear the laughter of the children across the street playing on the playground. I'm 6 years old, and I cannot hear the laughter of the children playing across the street from my neighborhood in South Los Angeles on the playground. Instead, I hear sirens from the ambulance that continuously comes to my home to save my mom from another heart attack. My mother was 300 pounds overweight. She battled obesity my entire childhood. Can you imagine what that must be like for a young daughter that has a mom who's obese? It's embarrassing, you're angry, and you're confused. My mom lost her battle of obesity due to heart disease at the age of 45. I was 14 years old. I became a motherless daughter at the age of 14. My mom died in my arms, literally, from her heart disease because of her obesity. Now, obviously, an event like that has a tremendous impact on me as a young child. It left me with lots of questions, right? About human behavior, why people get obesity in the first place. So one of the major contributing factors that I really have always thought about is environment. What sort of environment, besides the normal human behavior? We know eating a lot, overeating causes obesity, but what about environment? What are the contributing environmental factors that help bring on the disease of obesity? So just by a quick show of hands, how many of you in the audience has heard of the term food desert? This is great. So in my community of South LA, now it's termed a food desert, but of course it was a food desert 20 years ago when I was growing up. And so when I walked to school every day, I would not pass healthy sit-down restaurants. I didn't pass large grocery stores, right? I passed liquor stores, small mom-and-pop markets, and Chinese food stores, right? Or the 3-in-1 combined, where you can go in, you can buy a pair of socks, pick up 2 egg rolls, and get a gallon of milk. That was our community. That was my community that I was raised in. And so fast forward to my adult life, thinking about the environmental factors that I was raised in, I decided to become a change within this system that's already cost 300,000 plus people their lives, right? 300,000 people, if not more, die every year from obesity. And so for the past 5 years, I thought about, well, what can I do? How can one particular person, besides general education, prevent something like obesity and heart disease? So I got into food policy. And we know that policies in general can create change on a city, state, and global scale, right? And so I worked for an organization who placed, and I was very instrumental of that in this process, placing a fast food moratorium in South LA. And so now, thank you, all of the restaurants that you see behind me, none of these guys can come into South LA anymore. And so, of course, we can't do anything about the restaurants that are here. However, the little bit of space that we do have, we can attract farmers markets, we can attract community gardens, and we can bring in grocery stores that actually do want to come in and offer fresh and healthy fruits and vegetables to our community. And so more recently, I've had the wonderful opportunity to work with the LA City Food Policy Council. So a couple of years ago, the mayor of LA created a food policy task force, which has grown to well over 200 people, now a council, which started last year. So we have about 200 food policy advocates, people that are working on your behalf to make your cities healthier, to increase this access of food. And so the definition of food desert, for those of you who already don't know, a food desert is usually a community of color It's an underserved community that does not have equal access to healthy fruits and vegetables. There are no green vegetables and red lean meat when you walk into the markets. Instead, you're bombarded with liquor, cigarettes, and chips. That's what most of the small mom and pop stores in South LA have. And so, in addition to the fast food moratorium, for the past 5 years, we have opened 4 community gardens in South LA. We've brought in two food co-ops. They're not open yet, but they're on the way. 2 Fresh and Easies have gone up along Crenshaw Boulevard now. And last but not least, through the Community Redevelopment Agency, we were able to convert 5 small mom and pop, small markets into a food oasis. So we went in there, we took all the liquor, the chips, and the junk food and put it in the back. So now when you walk in there, you see fresh fruits and vegetables. And now, of course, it takes a lot of education, right, to educate the community in the area to want to actually buy the fruits and vegetables. And that's something that we're continuously working on. But at least the first step has been accomplished in helping people have better access to fresh and healthy fruits and vegetables. And so one of my ways that I want to pay tribute to being here in Santa Monica. So this Food Policy Council, last year we sponsored the Good Food Festival and Conference. So we brought this whole notion of food policy and food justice to Santa Monica. And I was able to be on the panel as well with well over 30 other individuals who came out and wanted to be involved in this process. And we talked about food policy, and we talked about different ways that people can become involved in this food policy movement, because it's open to everyone. The Food Policy Council, as a smaller body, it consists of about 30 individuals, but we have sub-working groups that has well over 200 people, and it's open to anyone to become a part of that. And so, in closing, you're probably wondering, I'm sure you all are, how can I become involved, right? Well, besides joining us in the Food Policy Council, I mean, Santa Monica, as you all already know, has a wonderful farmers market. Shop local, eat local, start your own food co-op. It's actually not as hard as a lot of us think it is. And so in closing, I mean, sure, I can tell you, well, if you know someone with obesity, educate them or provide them with the tools and resources to help them. I mean, when I was a child, I obviously could not help my mom because I did not have the education at the time or the resources, but now you do. All of you standing in front of me, you do. But I'll leave you with this quote, and hopefully this will do something for you when you wake up tomorrow. So, as you start your day, each and every single day, you can either do one of 2 things. You can either create health, or you can produce disease for yourself. So now it's up to you to take that and do something about it. Thank you.